Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. You see that guy right there? You can certainly see him. I doubt that he can see you. I'm not even sure if I can see you. But in a minute, I will. Because even though it's 9 o'clock rather than 7 o'clock, it is still Facebook. And you are still watching it live. And I am still waving a record in front of my cheap-ass telephone. And oh, the monitor's on. This is a good thing. That means that what's happening right now is a special on-the-road edition, just like Jack Kerouac, of Tent Talks Tunes. And I have with me, as promised, as threatened, my special guest star, Mr. Jeffrey K. Clayton, of the almighty ANTiSEEN, of Long-Haired Weirdo Records, of Judas Bullethead, and so much more. Welcome, Jeff.
Welcome, Mr. Tent.
It's good to be here at Clayton Manor, bringing this...
It seems like it was only just yesterday you were here.
Kind of like a Carpenter song. It was only
yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
It's yesterday once more.
You know, if you people saw Break On Through yesterday via the almighty ANTiSEEN Facebook page, you might know what's about to happen here. It's going to be pure mayhem, I promise you. And Mr. Jeff Clayton, the Unimpeachable President for Life, and the Minister of Propaganda get together to talk about music. So I'm really not going to get into too much more bourgeois, except to say that I am here, indeed, in Clayton Manor. And like what I did yesterday, sort of did a little picking and perusing through the personal record collection of Mr. Jeff Clayton. I grabbed a few things that I want to talk to him about and get his perspective on. And as you saw, at the very beginning, the intro card, I have this fantastic, incredible album, Born Petrified by Jack Starr. And I've never really talked about Jack Starr much on Tent Talks Tunes, but I'm a big fan of Jack Starr. Jack Starr is a true American original. And Mr. Jeff Clayton, you actually worked with Jack Starr, did you?
I actually did. The year was 1988 or 89. I don't remember. But it was the first tour, the first full tour of the East Coast that ANTiSEEN ever did. And this would have been the tour. And matter of fact, this show where I met Jack Starr was also the show where I first met, in person, Mr. Merle Allen. It was at a club called Green Street Station. And I made the mistake of saying it was in Boston because it was actually in a town called Austin. And a lot of people will correct me on that if I would say Boston. But we were playing a show opening up for the A-Bones. Are you familiar with them?
Yes, Billy and Miriam of Norton Records.
And man, you know, I was just thrilled that, you know, because Miriam was a cramp. And I was, you know, and of course around this time, I was pretty in tune with the fanzines and stuff, so I knew about Kicks. And I knew about Jack Starr through Kicks. But it wouldn't be until we played with the A-Bones at Green Street Station. It was ANTiSEEN, the A-Bones, and Jack Starr, which the A-Bones were his backup group. And man, I don't know what it was. I'm sure that until that evening, Jack Starr never heard of us before. But it was one of those things where we met, we were introduced, and it's like we were drawn to each other like a magnet. Especially me and Joe and Jack. And man, we talked all evening. And what did we talk about? Hell, I don't remember now, but all I just know was when he performed, man, we were blown away. you know, talking to the kid's head, and you know, singing about UFOs and zombies and Martian attacks and stuff. All, you know, stuff that's very important that I think a band should sing about.
Yeah.
And of course, midway through the set, Billy invited me up on stage to play washboard with the A-Bones. So I got to perform with the A-Bones and Jack Starr. This is our first major tour of the East Coast, and man, we met so many people that were very influential, not only to us but to the underground music scene in general.
Yeah.
And that one-time meeting, well, we were later playing at the CBGB canteen, I think.
I was there.
Yeah. Well, you know, afterwards, did you go with us to Hoboken?
You invited me to go to Hoboken. You said, man, I'm playing scrubboard tonight with Jack Starr. You want to come along? I had never heard of Jack Starr at the time, so I declined. That's a regret, people. I regret that immensely.
Well, we were late. We missed Jack's show. I think we may have saw the last bit of it. And Jack asked me to come down into the basement of Maxwell's in Hoboken, and he had the kid head, and we were just sitting there talking. Me, Jack, and the kid head was sitting there on the table. And Billy, it was either Billy and or Miriam, told a photographer, get pictures of this. And then, you know, we posed for some. And, you know, to this day, every time I saw Billy Miller at record shows or at shows up in New York and stuff, he would always say, Jeff, I've got those pictures. I got a proof sheet of them. They're amazing. I'm going to send you some. I'm going to send you, you know, a proof sheet. And let you. But it never happened. And so those pictures, I don't know. I know the Norton Records headquarters had some problems during that hurricane.
Yeah, they got flooded big time.
They got fucked up. Yeah. And who knows if those pictures even exist anymore. But I never laid eyes on one of them.
Well, let's send the word out right now. Miriam, I know you check in on Tent Talks Tunes occasionally. If you're out there, this man right here would love to see those photos. If you got them and you can get your hands on them.
I would love to have a print made from those. I mean, I know you may not have the negative, but you know, with technology, I can a nice scan would help me do what I would like to do here. And more with the Jack Starr story. We ended up in Dallas a few times, and he would always come out to see. He played on stage with us one time. He brought an old piece of shit guitar. He did Haunted House.
All right, looks like
we're back. We're having internet trouble, as you know, happens sometime around here. But I'm hoping I got most of that out. But you know, we would see each other anytime, but it was possible.
Yeah.
And Jack actually wrote the song "Destroy Them All." He said he wrote that for ANTiSEEN.
Oh wow, I never knew that.
He sent it to me. Of course, he made a video of it and everything. He sent me the video, everything. And man, we spoke on the phone pretty often. And of course, when Jack died, man, I was devastated, and I continued for years to call his mother. And we would talk, and we were going to go visit her one time when we were down in Dallas, and you know, she had other plans, wouldn't be around the house, so we didn't ever. I got to actually meet in person, but I think we did buy some things for her and left it at her house or something, and I would talk with her until, you know, probably just a few years before she passed.
Wow.
Always a happy Thanksgiving call, a Merry Christmas call.
Right.
Jack's daughter did reach out to me at one point, and we made an arrangement. I told her I would be more than happy to share any and all the information I have, about hanging out with her dad and stuff. And of course, we covered Destroy Them. We did Destroy Them All, the song that was written for us.
Right.
We also did Chicken.
Yeah, Chicken.
Which was a Jack Starr song.
It's according to the song, it's finger licking good.
Man, when I'm dead, they're gonna put on my stone. He loved chicken. Now he's gone. So yeah, how can it get any better than that? You might ask that, and I'm gonna have to say to you, I don't know. Maybe throw me a peach out of your tree.
Now, if you saw Break On Through yesterday, you know that Jeff Clayton and we get along pretty well, but there was almost a knockdown, drag-out brawl. I think the barbed wire baseball bat was close at hand. It didn't actually...
I had already squirted lighter fluid on this table, was getting ready to catch it on fire.
And reinforcements had come out, and this is all over the merits or demerits of the Captain Beefheart Mercury albums. So if y'all want to see what went down, be sure to go onto the ANTiSEEN official YouTube page and look at yesterday's episode of Break On Through, because we had a very lively discussion about 2 critical Captain Beefheart albums, and we'll just kind of leave it at that. But yeah, Jack Starr, true American original. And if you guys have not heard of Jack Starr, I mean, look at this guy. That dude's not messing around. That is serious stuff.
And man, being associated with Norton Records and the A-Bones wasn't his first, exposure or first dip into being a performer. He was also in the movie The Giant Gila Monster, or Gila Monster, I guess it's pronounced properly, in the Tex-Mex area. But he was also, I think he also had a TV show, like a horror host or something too. So I might be wrong about that, but he was quite a character, and I feel. You see what's going on here?
Yeah, it's still going through there. We're seeing some jumpy video images, but we're still moving, we're still flowing. So just pretend that we're not glitchy. I mean, I'm not glitchy. I think you're glitchy. You've never been glitchy as long as I've known you, Jeff.
Man, it's stuck.
What are you gonna do? Are you people still seeing this? The words are flowing, but the visual is in a short, endless loop. That's weird. But then Stephen Smith says it's okay. We have a 500 average that says it's okay. So let's just keep on choogling here.
I'm gonna get rid of this so we don't even look at it.
Yeah, we're having monitor troubles. If you've ever been set foot on stage,
It's okay now.
All right, that's okay. M. Leslie Wimmer, my mentor from Open Books and Records, is tuned in and watching right now. So everybody should say hey to Leslie. She made me what I am in many ways. Very cool. All right, man.
The authorities will be showing up at your residence shortly.
My fault, I swear. All right, let's move on. Let's get some more contentious discussion here. I'm going to bring out 2, not 1, but 2 debut albums. And we're going to discuss the merits and demerits of each.
I have not seen these albums first, so I've not had time to prepare. So this is, when you see it, is the first time I'm seeing it. So
right on. I should have mentioned
I don't know what he picked.
The element of surprise here. All right, so 2 debut albums. If one had to choose between Public Image or, and I've learned not to say never mind the bollocks. I said that in England and they just laughed. Never mind the bollocks or Public Image. Well, Jeffrey K. Clayton, these are both in your collection.
Yeah.
This one and this one, they're both in my collection too, oddly enough.
I figured they would be.
That's the way we roll. Man, if you had to choose, what would you choose?
Well, Malcolm, This is actually a very easy question for me to answer.
Oh, yeah?
I think that this is one of the greatest rock and roll records of all time.
Yes. Agreed.
Of all time.
Agreed.
Not only is it in the top 10, it's in the top 5. It might be in the top 3. It might be in 1 all by itself. I will stick with this debut always. Always. I love this record. There's nothing wrong with this record at all.
Not a wasted groove. Not one wasted groove.
You know, and I would think, well, you know, they're such a photogenic band. Why didn't they have that? It didn't matter. This is the perfect cover for this. Perfect, everything, the graphics and all. It, you know, a lot of people love to put down the Sex Pistols now. Now that they're gone, now that they've had a reunion, and they're doing some public bickering and stuff. You know, especially a lot of you young hipsters love to put down and say, call them a boy band. You're all full of shit. The way they came together was not like Boys to Men or none of that horse shit like that. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. That record, that band changed music. Not just rock and roll, music. From the time they were in the public eye, right then, everything changed. Metal, new wave, dance, everything. And it was a direct result of this record. More importantly, this band and what they spurred. Yep, there was stuff going on in New York. But I'm telling you, as they were, none of those bands from New York were going to cause the uproar and the influence that this band did. It just wasn't going to happen. Television? Nah. Blondie? Nah, they weren't writing Heart of Glass when they first started and were at CBGB's. No! They would have, man, you can't find anybody that loves the Ramones more than me. But they weren't going to get it either. They got the credit for inspiring groups like this and the Clash and the Damned and, you know, all the England 77 bands because they went over there before this had really taken, you know, gotten the world's attention, and they inspired it. And they will always have the credit for being first. But they were not the ones that turned the direction of all music forever. That was them. Metal took a different direction. You know, all that, all the stuff that came after it, that new wave, that new romantic and all that stuff. I mean, everybody was influenced by this. Guys in Duran Duran were influenced by this. Now, you go, it don't matter. It's the fact that it inspired. It made people who probably thought they could not or should not be in a band or being in front of people, just say, fuck it. We're going to do it. The rest is history, and you can argue all you want about John Lydon's credibility. He has nothing to prove to any of you, or to me, or to Mr. Tent. He wrote the blueprint, and then he was done with it. And he wants to do a butter commercial? I don't care. Do a butter commercial. More power to you, John Lydon.
Let's drink a toast right now to butter commercials.
Butter commercials.
That hibiscus tea sure is good, man.
You got the last bag of peach. I had to use Strawberry Fields, and I'm telling you, it's quite a taste sensation itself.
Man, Strawberry Fields forever.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Or at least until we buy more peach.
True that. True that. And if y'all want to see the recipe for the Jeff Clayton's Break On Through Tea, be sure to watch that archived episode because he revealed it in depth, in detail.
I even took a picture of the ingredients and posted them on Facebook. Go down and look on Facebook about 6 months or so. I don't know, 3 months, 4 months. Scroll down, look at all my stuff, like it.
Yeah.
Share it.
Yeah.
Look at the ingredients. And you too can have hibiscus break on through brew in your very own home. You can drink it with us.
I wouldn't drink it if it weren't good. All right, so where does that leave the first Public Image record, man, after all that?
Well, yep. A damn hard act to follow.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you something. As always, Mr. Lydon did not do what basically any other one of us would have done. I'll just go get some other guys, call it the Johnny Rotten experience or the Johnny Rotten sleigh ride or something, and we'll play this. We'll play Pretty Vacant until we retire. Instead, most of the songs on this record, I understand, he was writing in the bus while they were over here in America. Maybe not everyone, but they were going up. They were like actually, discussing it. Oh yeah, I got this one for the next album. Because they actually, I guess, when they entered America, they had the mindset that they were going to go back to England and put out record number 2. Never happened. But this man, this is why I always respect this man. He done what the fuck he wanted to do. Now, record company signed him because what you don't sign the guy that's been on the news every night for the last 2 years? Right in the middle of their damn firestorm breakup, you don't. Yeah, no, you sign them. You sign them. You let him do whatever the hell he wants. And I will admit, as a young fan wanting, never mind the bollocks. I wanted Never Mind the Bollocks 2. More bollocks, right? That's what I wanted. I didn't get it with this. And it took a while for it to catch on for me. But this record right here, this one and second edition, has never, since they were released, has never not been in my record collection in some way, shape, or form. I do not have the metal box version of second edition, but I do have the metal box CD version of it.
All right.
A very little metal box.
It is a little tiny 5-inch round metal box. You used to have one of those.
This is some kind of commemorative release.
Like the Franklin Mint edition, I think
right.
It was. Yes, but still metal box,
Yep, of course it is.
What I love about Public Image Limited was that when they started out, Keith Levine, the guitar player, who was a very important part of the story, and Jaw Wobble.
And was formerly the guitarist for The Clash.
The Clash.
One of the guitarists for The Clash.
Yes. They sat down and they said, okay, Never Mind the Bollocks, here's the Sex Pistols, was the last rock and roll record there will ever be. From now on, rock and roll is dead. No rock and roll. I mean, they were wrong, but they had this idea so that when they started this band, it was not going to be rock and roll. And the thing I've always loved about Public Image, especially the Jaw Wobble era, is that they took reggae as their foundation, but they didn't play reggae. They took like the reggae style bass lines, but they flattened out the rhythms and literally created something entirely new that no one had ever heard before. And Keith Levine, he plays nothing but the top end of the high strings. He ever rarely went down into power chord territory. So it's nothing but this screechy, fractured shards of guitar noise with this deep bottom reggae style bass played to a non-reggae rhythm. They literally invented something new.
And weren't they the ones that the phrase post-punk was coined for.
Absolutely.
It's like everything that didn't fall into your Ramones, Sex Pistols, Clash category after this was labeled post-punk. And, you know, all the people from back here that, you know, lived... I mean, we lived through all this. I bought Nevermind the Bollocks when it was... I didn't get it in 77, but I got it in 79.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, early 79. And it was still... You know, I got this when it came out. This is not the one I had. This is a nice reissue.
Yeah.
But man, the stuff on here, like when I listened, and you know, as I said, it didn't grab me like the Sex Pistols album, but I recognized some solid gold moments on here at first play. Annalisa, Low Life, Attack. Is Futterstomp the one that goes, we only want it to be loved?
Yes.
Being a small town boy in Albemarle, North Carolina.
Albemarle.
Actually, I was in New London, North Carolina. A friend of mine and I would decide to play tricks on fast food employee drive-through workers. Drive-throughs were kind of a new thing then. And we would, we actually walked up to one of the, walked up to one of the drive-through things and went, we only want it to be loud. And the woman said something like, sorry your mom didn't, or something like that.
Ooh, that's brutal, man.
Dumbasses. Small town boy, do small town stuff.
That's right, man. Well, I'm just gonna say, as I throw my opinion into the controversy, Sex Pistols versus Public Image Limited. I love the Sex Pistols. I love them. The Public Image just strikes a chord in me, and Metal Box second edition especially, that just resonates with the very fiber of my being, my psyche. So I would go, ultimately, if I really had to, Public Image.
I'm not mad at that decision. I understand it.
All right, let's agree on that. That's good. See, it's not all conflict and discord in this world. There is harmony. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
We love to harmonize.
Yeah, as you heard, we only wanted to be loved. Well, never mind. All right, gang, we're going to flip the lever in the Wayback Machine right now. I saw this record in Jeff Clayton's personal collection, and it took me right back to my childhood, because my father had an excellent record collection when I was a little kid. He had a real good record collection. And this was a highlight. Hot Buttered Soul by Isaac Hayes. And I used to spend hours, I don't know, hours, but a very long time when I was a little kid staring at this cover. I would look at the pores in his head and the blurry, I couldn't figure, was that really a chain around his neck? And what's up with, everything about this cover was just so mysterious and enigmatic. On the back, you've got just a regular looking guy. I wasn't even sure if this was the same as this. And then the songs, what is it, a 12-minute version of Walk On By, and an 18-and-a-half-minute version of By the Time I Get to Phoenix, with these raps.
Man, they were really pushing the time that you were able to put on records. I mean, this is almost a 30-minute side, right?
Yeah, right. 18-and-a-half minutes.
18-and-a-half, and this one's 5, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3. Well, you're looking at right at 25 minutes.
Yeah.
That's pushing it, man.
Yeah. And it sounds great, though.
It does. Really, it sounds
good.
Amazing.
Like Latter Day Stack's album. The thing that really blew my mind was Isaac Hayes' raps. And I had the same thing with Lou Rawls, because my father had the best of Lou Rawls.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Lou Rawls had these awesome, long spoken introductions to his songs. I hardly understood what he was saying. You know, because we lived in like an all-white, suburban, strictly, you know, middle-class Florida neighborhood. People didn't talk like that. And I could just listen to the sound of these guys' voices, like, forever. And even though I didn't understand a word they were saying hardly, I knew I wanted to.
Well, I discovered Isaac Hayes in 1973 when Shaft was big on the radio. I did not see the movie in '73, but man, that the theme from Shaft was all over the place. My dad liked really good music too, and he loved it. Every time it came on, it was, you know, turn it up. And I saw Isaac Hayes on the Grammys that year, where they played Shaft live, and man, I was blown away. You know, I was just like, this is gonna sound weird, but I didn't know there was like a big. I knew there was country music and rock music, but see, we always listened to top 40. You know, I didn't control the radio back then. You know, and I'm 10 years old. The old man controlled the damn radio in the car, in the house, and we listened to the radio a lot, and it was all top 40. But you're talking about a top 40 in 1973 that had Rick Derringer, and then you would have the Four Tops.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't know that there were different format radio stations. We were listening to AM radio. And like all those AM Gold comps that all come out, man, that was our soundtrack. And it was soul bands. It was rock bands, hard rock bands. You know, Black Oak, Arkansas. You know, we talked about that yesterday. Mm-hmm. Jim Dandy to the rescue in '73, maybe '74. I don't know, but around that same time, and I never thought about, well, this is soul music or, you know, black people music or what. I didn't think of it. I just knew what I liked. Man, I've never ever liked the term guilty pleasures, because I'm not guilty about anything that brings me pleasure, especially as far as music goes. If it pleases my ear, then I like it. I don't care about the origin of it. I mean, eventually I study and learn it, but it could be the craziest squawking stuff from John Coltrane. It could be Looking Glass, Brandy. Mm-hmm. It could be the Monkees. It can be, I don't know, back then, what would it have been? Maybe, well, back then is when I first got into Alice Cooper. The first album of Alice I ever owned was $1 Billion Babies. I told you yesterday how I know that record forward and backward. And, man, I loved all this stuff. And when I heard Isaac Hayes, and most importantly, when I saw him doing it, man, I was blown away. I loved Isaac Hayes all of a sudden. I didn't know anything else he did.
Yeah.
But later on, when all my friends and I start trading records, and then we started to see the advent of the used record being sold.
Critical, yeah.
Which, you know, rather than going paying full price for a brand new album, you know, you could get a used one at a fraction of the cost, which is how we discovered a ton of music. You get 3 records for what you would buy a brand new one for. And man, I remember the first time I heard this Hot Buttered Soul record. I don't think it came off my turntable for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And see, I was living in an apartment by myself, man, and I'd turn off every light in the house and just have the lights from the street come in, and I'd play this record, man, and I would just sit there, and I guess some people would get high to it, but this made me high. I I believed every word this guy said on this record. I believed it. He didn't have to convince me of nothing. Maybe he didn't live any of it. But he convinced me that he did. And by the time I get to Phoenix, whether it's Glenn Campbell's version or this one right here is one of the saddest songs ever. And Isaac Hayes is one of those singers, much like Hank Williams before him, that can really make you feel what he's trying to make you feel, what he's feeling. And I don't think he ever lost that. I don't know if you ever heard that pair of records he did with the later revamped Barkays.
No, I don't know those.
They're two records. The covers fit together. One was silver, one was gold, and I can't even remember the name of the records now. But one was instrumentals, and one was songs with Isaac's vocals. And 20 or 30 years after the fact, and still amazing.
Right on.
Love Isaac Hayes. Love this record. I seriously doubt anyone watching Tent Talks Tunes has not heard this record.
I would hope that that's true. I would hope that everybody out there has.
But if you are one of the few people, and we're not making fun of you, we're not saying, oh man, you don't know nothing about music. If you've not heard that record, make sure you remedy that before this weekend is over. You will not be sorry. You will thank me and Mr. Tent for turning you on to it. I promise you that. You have my guarantee.
I second that emotion. And you...
Here, let's have a toast to emotions.
Emotions.
All right.
Not emo, mind you. Not emo.
No, not emo.
Emotions. You made a point that I thought was really critical when you said that when Isaac Hayes sang it, you believe it. Would not the same be true for Mr. Johnny Lydon and Jack Starr?
Yes.
I believe it, When he says his love is petrified, I believe it.
and something else you brought up, by bringing that up, you mentioned earlier about Lou Rawls. And, you and I have had these kind of discussions traveling, 14, 15, 20-something hours at night when we're the only ones awake. And I said to Mr. Tent one time, I said, I really believe Isaac Hayes got the whole spoken recitation thing from Lou Rawls.
Right.
Because Lou Rawls was doing that stuff in the 60s. As were some of the country guys, such as Red Sovine.
Oh, right, yeah.
A lot of it, that was his thing.
Yeah, the Teddy Bear and Little Rosa.
The spoken. Yeah, so, I really think, and, Stax was from Memphis.
Right.
It all ties in,
Yeah.
You can try to put it in different categories and say it has nothing to do with the other all you want, but you'll always be wrong.
Yeah.
It's always got an influence from somewhere. More real. I don't know what word I'm looking for. The people that really know their music history have been able to pull out things from what ANTiSEEN does and has done that I thought were well hidden and no one would ever figure it out.
Right on.
But I know people that have said, I know exactly where that comes from. And I'm just like, you are correct.
Busted.
But I don't get offended at that. I get excited at that,
No, it's fun to put those references in there, knowingly to put them in there and see who or if anybody actually does get it. I do a lot of that with my own solo work, because I sit around and listen to records all day and study and all that, and it's just really fun to pick things out of extreme left field and put that in there and see who gets it. All right, we got another, I don't know if this is going to be a bone of contention necessarily, but an interesting album that I really like that's gotten overlooked even by hardcore fans of the almighty Grand Funk Railroad. This is one that just sort of came and went. Their final album at the time from 1976, Good Singin', Good Playin', produced by Frank Zappa. I'm just going to go ahead right now and say I think this is one of their best albums.
I love this album. Whether I think it's one of Grand Funk's best or not, I don't know. But it is a damn good record. I don't think they made any bad records with this original lineup. And even when they added Craig Frost. So, and you know, Frank Zappa really liked these guys.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't doing it just for the pay. He didn't need the paycheck, I don't think. I don't know. Maybe he did, but
I don't think so.
But he really liked these guys. So everything I've got a book about Todd Rundgren and about all his production projects. And, you know, he produced 2 of their records. And he really liked these. They were just down home, wholesome, fun dude. Maybe they weren't wholesome in the 70s, but they were down to earth.
Right.
I guess is what everyone could agree on.
And that's what Zappa actually pointed out. He said, look, they're just guys. You can fart in their presence and nobody's offended. You know, you can go there and, you know, shoot birds with blowguns or whatever it was. And then he even came up with the title, Good Singing, Good Playing. That's, you know, Frank Zappa came up with that. Zappa plays lead guitar on at least one of the songs. Lore has it that he only played lead guitar on the song Out to Get You, but I honestly think if you listen to this album very carefully and listen to some of the guitar solos, I really think that he plays lead guitar on a lot more of this album than anybody's ever really come clean about. Either that or Mark Farner was really studying that Zappa style. Because it sure sounds like Zappa to me. Yeah, great album. The only album of all by the original Grand Funk lineup, including the Craig Frost lineup, that I don't think is that great is Shining On.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know what it is with that one. It just seems like they were kind of treading water on that one.
I can't agree with you on that one. I really love Shining On.
Uh-oh, here's some of that conflict we warned you about. We got chalk and cheese here.
Yeah.
Ooh, boy. Yeah, I don't know. I've gone back and tried just the other day before I came down here. I listened to Shining On, thinking, am I missing something? And it did not click with me. Did not register.
But you know what I love most about that record?
What?
The first 2 songs.
Yeah.
Please Me and To Get Back In. I think To Get Back In is one of the best songs they ever did.
To Get Back In's not bad.
Right.
It's got a wicked groove to it. And great Mark Farner vocal. And
Mark Farner is such a damn good singer.
He really is.
He still is.
Now, did you ever get into Howard Tate?
I don't even know what Howard Tate is.
Oh my God, this is amazing. This is something. Usually we know what we're talking about. Okay, Jeff Clayton, you got to check out Howard Tate.
Okay.
He's the soul singer that Mark Farner admitted to ripping off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Howard Tate.
Howard Tate. He had a bunch of stuff on Verve and like maybe some other labels. But I swear, when you hear Howard Tate, you're going to be like, oh, yeah.
No, well, I can't wait to do this study.
Yeah.
So I was told about because of our broadcast yesterday, Andy Miller from KIF.
Yeah.
When we were talking about the boys and
The Gods.
and the Gods, told me about a group called the Hounds.
No, I don't know them.
That he said would fit right into that and be into that whole thing. So I'm interested in studying on the Hounds and Howard Tate after this weekend.
Yeah, I got to check out the Hounds because if it fits into that category of the Gods and the Boys, I'm sold already. Right on. All right, let's continue onward here. This is another kind of like before and after comparison of 2 different eras of a very fine band. What does one choose? What direction do you go in? Do you go for the Buckingham Nicks era or the Bob Welch era of Fleetwood Mac? These are 2 fine albums. Where does Jeff Clayton lean?
All right. First of all, I'll just go ahead and make it perfectly clear. The glue that holds me to Fleetwood Mac on either era is the voice of Christine McVie. I think, I personally think that I think the best female vocalist in popular music, and a lot of people will fucking, what about, I'm not talking about in soul and country. I'm talking about the stuff that you heard on the radio, top 40, the stuff we grew up on.
Mm-hmm.
Before we learned how to dig and find the influences and stuff. Karen Carpenter was one of the best. She was the best female vocalist ever. And I'm telling you right now, Christine McVie is right on her heels, in my opinion. And I like everything she's ever done. And as far as which group do I prefer, I know what's popular to say.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to say that. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you something, Mr. Tent. I personally love the best, the Buckingham Nicks era.
I knew there was a curveball in there somewhere. I knew it. I knew it wasn't going to be as easy as it might seem. I knew it.
And that's not saying I do not appreciate this earlier stuff. I love when Bob Welch joined the band. One of my favorite songs of now, if you said, "Hey man, what's your top 10 favorite Fleetwood Mac songs?" "Hypnotized," from "Mystery to Me," would probably be in that top 5. And I've got a bootleg somewhere where they play "Hypnotized."
Yeah.
It's with the Buckingham Nicks band.
Yeah, from '75, from that first tour they did. Mm-hmm. They do Station Man as well. Yeah. Which they never did afterwards. But yeah, Hypnotized. Wow.
Love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I it's not the popular thing to say among most rock and roll people. That's the. But man, that's what turned me on to them. Hearing Rumors. Actually, I guess hearing Over My Head on the radio, and just falling in love with Christine McVie's voice. I loved hearing it every time it came on, and from getting the first Fleetwood Mac, Buckingham Nicks era, and then Rumors is what made me. I continued to get the stuff that came out, and I started digging for the old stuff. As a matter of fact, Fleetwood Mac is a band. It's a band where Joe Young and I, had a real connection with one time. I guess we were, of course we like the Stooges. Of course we like the Ramones. Of course we love the Sex Pistols. We didn't really talk about much else, the stuff that goes way deep. And one night we were sitting around. Either that or we were probably going around putting up flyers. Remember when you had to do that?
Oh yes. Yeah. Oh yes.
And we were putting up flyers, and on the radio comes Gypsy. Mm-hmm. He goes, "Man," and I loved it. I love this. Mm-hmm. And Joe goes, "Man, I know it's going to sound weird, but I love that song." I looked at him like, the secret is revealed. I said, "Man, I love that song too." It was one of the moments we had where we were just, come on.
Yeah, maybe this guy's all right. Well, I'll tell you, man, when you talked about the glue that holds Fleetwood Mac together for you, for me, it's the rhythm section. It's
Mick and John.
Yep, those guys have a groove that nobody else has. And that goes all the way back to John Mayall and the Blues Breakers. And even to the present day, they've just got this undefinable groove in the way that they play. They don't overplay anything. Mm-mm. But man, it's just got this, it's not really a swing to it, it's a groove.
But the John Mayall stuff when they were the rhythm section, is completely head and shoulders above any of the other. I think. You listen to much of that?
Not as much. Like, I'm more familiar with most of the stuff I have from that era is from this CD I have of BBC sessions, and it's great. And if you're talking about like British blues, absolutely, those guys are way above and beyond the average British blues band at the time because of that groove. And I've never been an Eric Clapton fan. If he ever did anything good, it was when he was with John Mayall. Peter Green, the Green God, like that guy could play, and he did it in a way that was far beyond. I find Clapton's playing to be really cliched. Maybe he made it a cliche. I don't know, but Peter Green, I think, just goes into territory that Eric Clapton could only dream of, and it's all held together by that rhythm section, and just the sound of these guys playing is a joy on any Fleetwood Mac record. It just sounds so good. And I'm with you with Christine McVie. She's got the voice. The voice of Stevie Nicks drives me up a tree. I cannot stand that screeching and wailing. I hate it. Kind of sums my feelings up about Fleetwood Mac.
Okay.
You know? And I do love the Bob Welch era. He brought that. A lot of people said he brought a California vibe to it, which I guess is kind of accurate. But he's got this whole thing with the 2-chord vamp that he would do, and these like really spacey sorts of songs about the Bermuda Triangle and seeing ghosts and all that. He was a weird dude.
Man, I saw some YouTube videos of a Bob Welch show at the Whiskey A Go Go.
Yes.
And Christine came up and did her part on A Sentimental Lady. And man, it's just really good.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen that show. Seen them in a club atmosphere like that. That would have been great.
Yeah, I remember seeing that on TV many, many, many years ago and digging it. Almost as good as the clip of Bob Welch live at, I think, the California Jam.
California Jam 2.
When he played at like 11 in the morning. And Stevie Nicks came out to help him. And
yeah.
That's all we're going to say. Is
Do you remember anything else about that? Because I remember something about that even at the time of watching it infuriated me.
Infuriated?
Yeah.
I don't know. What would that
Do you remember who the commentator was?
God, no, I don't.
Jeff Conway, I think was his name. He was in the TV show Taxi.
Oh, that guy, yeah. Okay.
Did you hear what he asked Bob Welch right there to his face?
No.
You know, and he had that going the whole time. But he says, "So Bob, I mean, you know, your old band Fleetwood Mac, you know, they've gone on to superstardom. I mean, how do you feel about that?"
Yeah.
And he's just like, he's looking at this guy like, you know, he didn't say it. I guess he's too much of a gentleman, but I bet he wanted to say, you know, how about I knock a few of them damn teeth out? But you're flashing all over the damn screen asking me this stupid-ass embarrassing question in front of everyone.
At 11 o'clock in the morning, and you know, here's Stevie.
Then he could have said, but, well, Jeff, let me ask you something. Who did Stevie Nicks get up and dance and play trampoline beside her for, you know, who knows how long this morning? It wasn't you, son.
No, it wasn't the second tier star of Taxi. No, sorry, guy. Oh, man. All right, we got this one right here. Just a very simple question. I found this in your collection. Very simple question. Jeff Clayton, have you ever actually listened to this album?
I have actually listened to this record, right. And it is a damn good record.
All right, that's it. That's it. I don't want to go any further than that.
Okay.
I just wanted to know if you actually listened to it.
Have you ever been anywhere where Dolores has been?
Dolores? Oh, that's Dolores?
Yeah.
You mean
is that her name?
I don't know. You're the expert with your own record collection here.
She, someone told me she lived in the Carolinas, and if that was the case, I was going to find out where, and I was going to send this to her and get it autographed. I don't know if that's true, but
does anybody out there know? Let's see a comment if you people know where Dolores lives.
I mean, I guess we could Google it, but we don't feel like Googling, man.
It's not fun.
Google's not fun.
Google makes it too easy, you know? It's like, I love the days of having to go to the newsstand and buy the latest issue of Cream magazine or Hit Parader or Rock Scene and read it
and
from
just
cover to
hope
cover.
they would mention one of your bands you're interested in.
Yeah.
Like, man, when I got hooked on the Runaways, it's like I couldn't get enough. But they weren't in every issue.
Yeah.
Which was a very big disappointment.
Definitely. I know how it was, especially with Cream magazine. You'd finally get to the back page, you know, and not see what you wanted. Which, you know... But, you know, the consolation prize was you would have learned, I mean, amazing stuff. You know, from Cream especially.
Do you know what your first issue of Cream was?
Man, I could almost tell you. It was, I believe, the one with Kiss on the front cover is Godzilla.
Okay. Yeah, them going to Japan.
Yeah. Pretty sure that was the first one. And I bought it because Kiss was on the cover.
I've got that one. My first one was a few years before.
Yeah.
Steven Tyler on the front.
Okay.
Black cover, picture of Steven with his hair on, like that, wearing some kind of tiger's leopard skin thing. It's kind of going Cream written in red, you know. It's like, I remember there was a story about Kiss, about Flo and Eddie introducing Kiss at the LA Forum. Mm-hmm. There was a Leonard Skinner article. Of course, there was something about Aerosmith, and man, it's like, that's what I studied in school. I even think the magazine got taken away at one point, and I had to wait until the end of the school day to get it back or some kind of shit like that. It's like, I'm trying to learn some important shit here.
Seriously, that is knowledge that has served you, like, right now. That's knowledge that's serving you.
Ray Gelman, my aunt was photo editor of Cream till about 72. That is quite a claim. I love that. That's great.
Yeah, Ms. Gelman, the most badass English teacher in the entire state of Arizona. And, yeah, her auntie. That's pretty cool. I think we should hoist some of this good hibiscus tea vessels to raise
to Auntie.
Auntie! Man, that's good stuff. Let's see what other kind of good stuff we got here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm going to roll here. All right, mid-period Ramones, baby. I've got some strong opinions about these two albums. Animal Boy. All right, well, let's hear some of them. Let's swap some opinions, man.
Okay, let's start with this first. Actually, you know what? As you see, this one's autographed.
No, I mentioned yesterday that there were some items in your collection that I was highly covetous of. Mm-hmm. That would be one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got Ramones autographed items. I don't have a single autographed... Well, no, I take it back. I do have an autographed copy of It's Alive.
Oh.
Which is pretty cool.
And this is Dee Dee, not CJ, so...
Right. Yeah. Right. That's the real deal. See, my It's Alive is autographed by Marky. You know, whatever. 3 out of 4 ain't bad.
All right. There's one thing that irritated me about this band in the mid-period. After Road to Ruin. Their record covers started being terrible. Yeah. Who looked at this dark-ass picture and said, you know what? That's the cover right there. You know, it usually works good too if you have a light over here shining on your subject. What do I know? I'm an idiot. But, and this. What the fuck is that?
It's ugly. That's what it is. It's ugly.
You know that mid-period, you know which record had the best cover?
Too Tough to Die.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. You know what was the second best? Halfway to Sanity.
Oh.
Them standing in the doorway of that Chinese restaurant or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Excellent record cover, because they started a pattern. You know, look at all the first few records. They're full bodied on the cover, except for End of the Century. And I even like End of the Century, but it would have been better if Phil Spector didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, that we know that.
But I don't know these, and I think Monty Melnick was the one in charge of doing covers at this point. I'm not sure. I think I read that. If Rick Johnson was on here, he could tell us. He could tell us for sure. But now I know we don't buy records for but back then the covers what usually determined whether you would lay the money down or not. But man, this one, what's it even called? Subterranean Jungle. This has got some of the greatest fucking songs, man. Outsider. Psychotherapy. God, I used to love when they played this live. It was... And that cover of Time Has Come Today. Not the way I would have done it, but it's the way they did it. And I love the way they did it. Time Bomb. When I think Dee Dee was writing some of his more vicious... lyrics. I love it. I love it.
No, don't forget Highest Trails Above, Someone Like Me, a little bit of soul. That's good stuff. Yep.
This was a good record. I like mid-period Ramones. A lot of people do not. Or, I mean, I just don't know. I mean, what was the record? Brain Drain.
Oh, yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah, that's...
Does that look like a Ramones record cover?
It doesn't look like a Ramones record. It doesn't sound like a Ramones record.
Yeah.
It's not a Ramones record. I would bet you money that Joey and Marky are the only ones even on it. Betcha. And you notice that he's not going to take the bet.
No, because I think I agree with you. I mean, there's some great songs on here. And there's some that a lot of people do like, and I'm not. I think side one is pretty damn kick-ass. I love Love Kills. I love Animal Boy. I love 8 Man. I mean, I love anything 8, Animal, Jungle, Gorilla, anything like that. I love it. She Belongs to Me is damn good. Somebody Put Something in My Drink was a part of their live show for quite a while, I guess. But Something to Believe In I didn't care much for. My Brain Is Hanging Upside Down. But I, like Johnny Ramone, didn't care for the subject matter. But what am I going to do about it? Answer: nothing. Okay?
Alright, I will pretty much agree with you. Basically, my beef with these two records, if I have a beef at all, is that the production on each of them is really weird. The production on this one's really thin. Really thin. I mean,
Jean Beauvoir did that from the Plasmatics, right?
Which is surprising. You know, being a plasmatic, you'd think he would know the value of good, beefy, loud production. But this record sounds like a transistor radio. Doesn't cut it. And this is also when Johnny was starting to speed the tempos up, and it was starting to downplay the pop element, and that weird statement he made about the Ramones, we're faster than any speed metal band, any thrash metal band, we're faster than all of them.
I mean, and to me, even back then when I heard that quote, I'm like, why is that important?
Yeah. It's two different things.
Because when you play, okay, let's try to pick a song. Rock and Roll High School. Catchy. I don't care, man. When it's going so fast that it's, I don't give it, I don't. That's the way it sounded.
Joey couldn't even get the words.
Could not get the words
so fast.
Joey liked to sing. He liked to have some. But when those songs were going so fast, it was, you know, and
yeah,
and it would just destroy. I think it could be best summed up by a Beach Boys song about liking modern jazz until they try to play it too darn fast.
Yeah.
And spoil the beauty of the melody till it sounds just like a symphony. That's why I go for that rock and roll music.
Dude.
All right.
Got 2 more slabs of rock and roll here.
Rock and roll hoochie coo. Let's do it.
Let's do some of this hoochie coo. Now, I've talked about this album before on Tent Talks Tunes, but I've never actually done an A-B comparison with 2 radically different Black Sabbath records, Sabotage and Born Again. I'm just going to lead it off right now by sort of throwing the spoiler statement out there that these are my 2 favorite Black Sabbath records. Favorite Ozzy record, favorite non-Ozzy record.
Okay.
Discuss.
All right. Black Sabbath. I figured you would bring them up.
Had to happen.
I've had many Black Sabbath discussions with close friends over the years, and we never change. I don't think we ever change each other's minds. I'm going to go on record right now. I've said it before. I've made posts about it, but I'm going to say it here on Tent Talks Tunes. My favorite Black Sabbath is the 2 records, not counting the live record and not counting Dehumanizer. Heaven and Hell, Mob Rules Era, Dio. Why? Because I think that is what Black Sabbath was supposed to be like. And when you say that, people assume you hate Ozzy. I do not hate Ozzy ever. Look, here's Dio. There's Ozzy. Like there's some Ozzy in the Dio there. I can't even like clearly separate them. See, there's some Ozzy blending into that Dio.
Yeah,
we're not going to be able to get that out. I love all the Ozzy Black Sabbath records. I'm not as familiar with Technical Ecstasy as some people are. I am familiar with this one, and I love this record. But I've got to say it is not my favorite Ozzy era. That would have to go to either Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, or Volume 4. But I can see why you would like that. And you know, I bet I could have picked that out as it pertains to you.
We know each other well. Yeah.
This record here is in my top 5 favorite Black Sabbath records of all time. This should have been, when Ian Gillan joined after Dio left, this should have been the way Black Sabbath stayed until either Dio or Ozzy came back. Man, it's something. There's something about those Black Sabbath guys and those Deep Purple guys, man. They did a lot of switching around in there, you know, a lot of
nuts.
And the reason Ian Gillan quit was because of this cover.
You got to admit, you're never going to unsee that cover.
Why would you want to unsee it? This is a damn good cover. Maybe it's not a damn good cover.
No, that's damn. An emphasis on the damn.
Maybe a different color arrangement. Maybe just purpley blue maybe should have been on it. Maybe if it was black. And that was like that. And Black Sabbath Born Again was in gold. You know, it's like gold foil or something. I don't know.
I love it as is. I mean,
I do too. I mean, look. All right, Ian Gillan, who are y'all playing for? A bunch of wine and cheese eating English dudes sitting around beside a harbor or something? 15-year-old kids with black t-shirts. This is going to get it. You know how many kids probably got this tattooed on them? That's what you're going for, Ian Gillan. The fucking music on here. I've heard the rough mixes of this, which is 10 times better than this album. But this album is fucking great, man. Every song on this record kicks arse. You hear me? I'm talking A-R-S-E. It kicks.
arse. That's right.
And I've seen some video. As a matter of fact, back when me and my friends used to stay up all night, I can't do that no more. But back when we used to stay up all night, just watching TV and playing records and stuff, man, just out of the blue one day on Night Flight comes like a 25-minute segment of Ian Gillan playing with Black Sabbath. They play. It was Disturbing the Priest, of course, Trashed, and then some of the Black Sabbath It was fucking amazing.
No doubt.
This was an amazing lineup. I just, Ian Gillan cut his hair when he saw a picture of Bruce Dickinson. Ian Gillan, you got some weird hang-ups, man.
Seriously.
That guy's supposed to be influenced by me? Oh, I don't like his hair. Well, for one thing, you don't have as pretty hair as Bruce Dickinson, okay? You look like a troll doll. But, yeah, you cut it off, all right, do what you got to do. But, and then you quit Black Sabbath because they come up with this record cover? Like I said, man, it's like them dudes, they think they're, we're rock and roll singers. We play music derived from the blues.
Well, I think that's what the back cover is all about. If you look at these kind of four dour gentlemen, maybe that's more of the image that Gillan was comfortable with, were these sort of, they look kind of depressed. I mean, look at this guy. Tony Iommi, he's not a happy-looking guy. Bill Ward, we know, wasn't very happy.
Still ain't.
No doubt. Ian Gillan doesn't look very happy either. Maybe this is sort of like the compromise, the back cover.
But there were some great group shots of them taken, promotional shots. They were all over.
With Bev Bevan in the
lineup.
lineup.
Bev Bevan was playing drums.
Those look great.
Which, look, I love Bill Ward, but man, he just seems problematic.
Yeah.
All the way around.
Yeah.
I'm willing to get back with Sabbath. They give me a signable contract. You know what? Sign the fucking contract, because you whining about it is not going to get no damn contract signed any quicker. This is like Peter Criss. What? I'm not getting paid. Well, guess how much you're getting paid when you quit? I don't get it. Yeah, that's a big old goose egg you get in there, Hoss.
Loof.
So, I don't understand Ian Gillan's, but it's not for me to understand. I mean, I'm glad I don't have to be in a band with him.
Yeah, right? Or Peter Criss.
Ooh,
boy.
I'd have gave Peter Criss, if I was Gene Simmons or Paul Stanley, I'd have gave him his walking papers before the first album was released.
They put up with an awful lot from him.
Early.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, God damn,
The only thing I don't understand when it comes to that is how Paul Stanley has gone on record many times saying that Peter Criss was not a good drummer.
That's bullshit.
It is. He's a pain in the ass, maybe, but he's a great drummer.
No, they can, man, yeah. Pain in the ass, asshole, liability, yeah, okay. Shitty drummer, oh. Kiss would not have been Kiss if they had a different kind of drummer. They said they wanted a John Bonham drummer. A John Bonham drummer wouldn't have worked in that band.
Wouldn't have worked. That's kind of what they ended up with Eric Carr.
But at that point, Kiss had already evolved, and you could see how you could insert that in. But when you're forming, if they'd have had that back then, it would not have had the same impact.
No, I agree.
I mean, there's something to be said about chemistry, and the original four Kiss had a chemistry that really worked in their favor for a long, long time, and then it just dissolved.
Right. As it almost inevitably has to, as people change, and, when certain members of the band get bad habits. I mean, but again, even Paul Stanley said that when they got back together in '96, as much as Ace and Peter were all screwed up and whatever, when they got back together for the first time to rehearse, he said there was that swagger.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't replace that.
Hey man, I know it exactly what it's like to experience that, because look, one of the most volatile lineups of ANTiSEEN. When I say volatile, I don't mean with each other, even though it was, but us versus the world was that '93 era. With O'Keefe, my brother, Joe, and myself. Some people would say the classic lineup was take out Greg, put in Throgmorton, and I think my brother would even say that. But I personally think it was Clayton, O'Keefe, and Young. And the rare occasions when Joe was still with us and we had the reunions, I know exactly what they're talking. No, we were not the same guys. Tom wasn't swinging his bass like a golf club and clocking people in the head just because they spit at him or pulled his cord out or something. No, that wasn't going on. You know, we weren't picking as many fights as we were, you know. But I know what that felt like.
Right.
To have that chemistry. And I'm not saying that no lineup ever, because we have a damn good chemistry now. Why don't we brag about our rehearsal tonight?
Why don't we, man? We rocked it.
You know, this is a very late Tent Talks Tunes. It's way past our bedtime. Well, not his bedtime. He's a night owl, but it's way past my bedtime. And but it's because we had to deal with the business at hand. Rehearsal for these 2 shows this weekend. Could be the last time you see ANTiSEEN in 2021. We don't know. No one knows what's going on with this country. I mean, I guess we could sum it up. It's going down the shitter, but I won't say that.
Didn't say that.
I didn't say it.
I didn't say that.
It was a loud thought. But this more than likely could be it. And, you know, we always assume, oh, we're going to need so much time to rehearse, you know, because Malcolm's not been down here in months. Never happens that way. Bam, first day. In the pocket. Like they would say about Charlie Watts. In the pocket.
Yep.
And tonight, the death train rolled like it was on fire and shooting lasers out the front of it.
Hell yeah.
And we had to come home and eat. I had to bathe because I smelled like a goat. And then we gave you a little Tent Talks Tunes. And I really enjoyed having you down here for these podcasts along with practicing. In 2 days, we'll experience what you really came down here for.
That's right. On the stage, in a rage.
Out of the cage. I don't know where to go from there.
I would say, let's hoist a little bit and drink to not acting our age.
All right. It's not an act.
Man, that's good stuff. So yeah, this weekend, in case you didn't know already, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, at Grounds Myrtle Beach. Sorry, Spartanburg, South Carolina at the Ground Zero. Long-time ANTiSEEN stomping grounds. And then the next night at the Tipsy Borough in Charlotte, the Queen City herself. Hometown gig for ANTiSEEN. We're going to have a sit and sup, meet and greet sort of situation before the show. Sit down at the table with ANTiSEEN and watch us as we spill tacos on our shirts and drop burritos in our laps and just do whatever it is we do when we sit down at
You'll
the table.
see that we're just normal, average guys. Working class hooligans.
That's it. That's it. That's what we do. And then we're going to get up and rock with some special surprises, too.
Oh, yeah. But we're not going to go too deep into that because we don't want you going, well, a special surprise. If they just tell me what it is now, I can see whether it's worth getting up and going. No, you got to come to this program.
Got to see it live. You got to experience it. And then when next time somebody asks, are you experienced? You can be like Eric Burden and say, yes, I am experienced. And it'll be good. Be real good.
Not necessarily stoned.
No.
But beautiful.
And really, I think that just kind of says it all. There is nothing more to be said. So we're not going to say anything else. Nothing. No more.
Nothing's going to be said. That's it.
No, we're done.
If you're waiting for something else to be said, you missed it.
Forget it.
That train has left the station, son.
Gone. Best you can do is chase it down the tracks.
It's going down the trail.
That's it. Forget it.
Nah. Nothing else is going to be said.
Not around here.
Nope.
Nothing
No
to be said.
words. No, if you're waiting for something to be talked about, damn.
Well, give it up.
Y'all missed it.
Give it up.
We're done.
Done. Finito.
We're not talking about anything.
Nope. Not at all. I've actually reached over into this mysterious box and gotten this object. A lot of people out there don't know what this is.
Yeah, because a lot of people are stupid.
I didn't say that. You said that.
Maybe I said it. Maybe it's late and I don't remember saying it.
Maybe not. I've been one of those loud thoughts or whatever it is. But this object is going to be put into play right now. To reach over to that screen. People can't see it, but it says finish in the corner. And so I'm going to reach over and finish. While I'm reaching over, I'm going to thank everybody for tuning in to Tent Talks Tunes. My special guest, Jeffrey K. Clayton. And if we don't see you at the show, we will not see you at the show, but we will see you in the future, for that is where our destinies lie.
Yeah, future. Your finger's going to have to do it, man.
It's
That eraser ain't going to get it.